Hello and welcome along to part 31 of this Dark Souls guide and playthrough. We are going to head straight towards the Undead Parish and we're going to try and find Andre of Thoroland. The last time that we met Rhea, she'd mentioned the fact that Petrus had basically coaxed them into going into the Tomb of the Giants, and she'd mentioned the death of Vince and Nico. And she's dead. Yep, I'm afraid that Rhea is dead, and there's only one suspect, and that is Petrus of Thoroland. So we'll go and pay Petrus a little visit, and we picked the pendant up there. That's an in-house joke by From Software. It has no purpose other than to drive obsessed players mad trying to find a use for it. So I find Petrus guilty, and as a result he's going to get what we'd call in Glasgow a doing. And you know, a Glaswegian is being serious when he starts taking his clothes off. He's going to give you what's called a square go. A square go is when basically a fight. So I was looking through my list of weapons here, thinking which one I'd use to dispatch Petrus to the afterlife, and I've decided to go for the great club. And I'm going to use power within because he deserves a bit of a battering. It is. And it does. Goodbye, Petrus. Humanity thief. So it's interesting, if you talk to Lautrec before he leaves, well, let me just quickly explain where I'm going here with the Ring of Fog. I'm going down to Vamos to give him the Chaos Flame Ember that we picked up in Demon Ruins. Remember, I walked into the lava to get it. Anyway, while I'm taking the shortcut to Vamos, and you can see I've got the Sunlight Maggot on. That's the thing that we picked up near a distraught Sir of Astora in the Lost Isleth. And remember those chaos bugs, these wee stupid things that were floating around next to him? That's the hat basically that emanates light. Anyway, I want to say about Lautrec, if you, under certain conditions, you can trigger a dialogue with Lautrec where he explains to you that you have to pay him like 3,000 souls, and he explains to you that about Petrus sending Rhea into the Tomb of the Giants, and how you know, Rhea, a young innocent Rhea, would be all alone and an easy target and whatnot. And he also mentions about how it would be easy to steal humanity from her, and that's something the crestfallen warrior told us about as well. Anyway, let him speak. Yes, it is. It's very sarcastic, Vanos. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to, I know I said before that chaos weapons aren't worth it unless you're not really intending to put points into strength and dexterity, because it's really supposed to like take the place of a strength or dexterity build. But I'm going to make a chaos weapon just for the sake of it, and we've got enough red chunks and a red slab to be able to do this. You can get 2 red slabs in a playthrough, maybe 3 if you're lucky, but 2 guaranteed ones. One from the place where Ziegmeier is in Lost Isleth, and the other one by trading an non-upgraded Ascended Pyromancy Flame with Snuggly the Crow. Anyway, I've got my Chaos weapon, and a plus 5 Chaos weapon with 10 soft humanity is about 16% stronger according to the wiki than a plus 10 flame, a plus 10 flame equivalent weapon. So a righteous warrior such as yourself is so cheeky, Vamos. But yeah, the law trick thing's interesting. I just want to try and get this out of the way as quickly as I can. So once you've spoken to Lautrec and he mentions that, you then go to speak. You can go back and speak to Petrus. Petrus will then say something about he makes a creepy comment about Vince and Nico dying, and you could do whatever you wanted then with with Ray of Thoroland now that she's all alone. I may have got the finer details of the exchange between Lautrec and Petrus wrong, but if you want to find out exactly, type into YouTube. This is a very large ember, so plus 11 to plus 15 for along the normal upgrade path. So this is the best ember in the game. No problem.
Now, just leave the rest to me. Andre of Astora, get...
So there you go, if you've got enough chunks you can upgrade. Anyway, we've got the Crest of Artorias, so come into the Dark Root Garden and come to the first bonfire in there, and we're going to use the Crest of Artorias. Artorias, not Artorias, sorry. And I actually died the first time I came down here, and the reason was I'd forgotten about this knight, and you're about to see him, he's got a ring of fog on. Now these guys are interesting. This is basically the forest protectors or whatever they're called, and these are basically all the starting classes available, or not all the starting classes, but a lot of the starting classes available at the beginning of the game. So this is the knight class. He's got a claymore, and he doesn't respawn like the other ones. I'm just changing into the silver ring here so I get more souls. Normally he gives you 3,000 souls, we get an extra 600 because it gives you 20%. The second guy you come to is the sorcerer, and he fires a soul arrow at you, and great soul arrow, or heavy soul arrow, whatever it's called. I find him the biggest pain out of the lot just because of the way he's got a ranged attack. And he can get caught in a loop sometimes, but he's got less health than the knight. So yeah, the reason why I died in here the first time is because I forgot the knight was there, and I didn't even notice him with the ring of fog on. I had two of them after me, and I just kind of got messed up. I think it was good that From Software incorporated this idea where you fight against the other starting classes into the game. That guy there, the sorcerer, the next guy, come under here and you'll trigger the thief, and you want to take these guys on one at a time for obvious reasons. So this is the thief, and he's got a bleed weapon. There you go, you can see my bleed meter filling up. Again, ring of fog on. He has more health than the sorcerer but less health than the knight. He's got no poise. He goes for the backstab if you present your back to him, so be careful with him. The next one up is a cleric. She's actually a female. I thought she was a male for a long time until I was doing my research for this video. She just showed us her back, which was nice of her. I don't know what shield that is that she uses, because I don't know if that's a shield you can get in the game. I was looking at the design in the front when I was editing this video, and yeah, I just don't recognise that shield. So if any of you know what it is, could you please tell me? She's obviously wielding a mace. All of these characters are easy to parry. This one has the same amount of health as the thief, and this is quite a good wee area to farm in if you're farming for souls at the beginning of the game. Sure, you have to make a £20,000 investment to get the area open to you, or at least a shortcut. This is a bandit class, obviously. This guy has 908 health points, but strangely he has more health points but drops less souls than the others. So I'm not sure what that's all about. He hits quite hard though, so be careful. He's also got the spider shield, obviously, because that's what the bandit class begins with. Did we started as a bandit class, didn't we? I can't even remember what we started as. Yeah, we started as a bandit class. I don't know why I'm messing around with this guy. I could have finished him off ages ago. Anyway, there he is. He's dead now. Something else I was going to say. Well, you can change the rings over now. Yeah, so it's a good place to farm souls at the beginning of the game. Or if you go through that door there, you can join a covenant. It's a forest hunter or forest protect covenant, something or other, majigger. You speak to Alvina, who's a cat, believe it or not. Anyway, we've got another one of these knights over here that's wearing the Ring of Fog. There he is. Forest Protector Covenant. No, that doesn't sound right. It sounds something along those lines. So the Black Knight sword did a lot better there than the Claymore. 2 hits against the Knight. And like I say, they don't respawn, those guys, so the Knights don't respawn, but the other 4 will. And there's one more enemy type here, and that's the Hunter class. Now be very careful, it's a female, and she has ranged bow. She's using the black bow of Faris, and she's wearing a Ring of Fog as well. The problem is, if there's a like a death drop behind her. If she backs up and drops down, you can lose the drop, and she drops a black bow of Faris, and the Faris hat as well. And I don't want her to drop that, so you have to be very careful where you fight her. And if you go too far into the forest as well, you'll spawn quite a lot of demonic foliages. So I was kind of in a conundrum here about how to approach her without putting her too close to the edge. You'll see she gets very close to the edge there, and I just think, well, I'm going to back away at this point. And what I do is I actually go back to the bonfire, and then I come back to try and get her in a better position. So I'll talk about what she drops. Like I say, she also has, like, because she's like she doesn't respawn. You only get 5,000 souls from her. She's got no poise. She reminds me of Lagatha from Vikings. She looks a bit like her if you see her up close. A shield maiden, but she's dead anyway. And yeah, the black bow of Faris is got the highest range, 65 meters range, but does less damage than the longbow. But I actually quite like it. It's got an E scaling rather than a, what is it? Yeah, it's got an E scaling compared to a D scaling. The longbow has a D scaling. The thing about the description there, it says like about Hawkeye go off and whatnot. I don't know if that is Faris. Maybe it is. Maybe Faris was a female, and there's no reason why why the character couldn't be a female. But I just don't know if that is Faris, and whether that person's just picked up Faris's gear. Anyway, we're going to come along here and encounter a load of demonic foliages. This guy's stuck, so that's good for us, and we'll use the Chaos Weapon, and it'll absolutely destroy these guys. These guys have more health than the ones from earlier on in this area. These ones have, I think, just about 100 or so, or 200 more health points. I think it's about 100 and something. And there's a lot more of them around here. And they're weak to fire, obviously, because, you know, they burn. Pyromancies, ranged attacks, fire bombs, and they've got no poise, so they're easy to stagger. And as we've said before, they drop loads of moss clumps. So the blood red is the most common, which is for bleed, to counteract bleed build-up. You've also got the purple moss clump for poison, and the most pernicious of all the toxic effects is the toxin build-up itself. So you get a wee bit of an ambush here. Sorry for the cheesy pun. That grab attack is particularly deadly. Try not to let them grab you. I love this Zweihander's knockdown effect, or knockdown attack. So the blooming purple moss clumps I think are the most valuable out of the ones that they drop. And there's an armour set over here, so don't this one here. This is the Eastern armour set, and it is bettered in every single way. It's got commensurate weight with the elite armour set, the elite knight set, but the elite knight set overshadows it in terms of defensive resistances by a long shot. The elite set also has 10 more poise if you put all the pieces on, but weighs 4 points more. But really the elite knight set is much better. And this enemy, I normally take this enemy, that massive Hydra, I normally take that enemy out like at the beginning of the game when we first come into Undead Parish, or when we take out Havel, because that's the way to get there. You can either go through Undead Burg and come down just before we fought the Taurus demon, and then we're in the bridge, and you've got the 2 ramparts and whatnot, but you've got at one side you've got the guys firing the bow at you, bow and arrow, or the archers, crossbow archers, and you fight the Taurus demon. Well, if you go at the end of that and then you go down, you've got the door that takes you down to where Havel fights, and if you come out that door you then take on these golems. Well, if you go down further, you'll encounter that Hydra, so that's one way to get there. The other way is to go where Andre is, come out where into the Darkroot Garden, and we went right there and we fought a Black Knight. Well, you go down like kind of that similar way, and it takes you to the same place. It takes you next to where Havel's wee room is, and you can fight the Hydra. One thing I would say is, don't run towards the Hydra, because it fires, it's got a ranged like water fireball, what the heck's that? It's got a ranged water attack where it fires like big balls of water at you, and if you're running and it hits you, that increases the amount of damage that you take. I was trying the Ring of Fog here. The strange thing is, I think that aggroed when it seen me up there, which is completely mad to me, but apparently wearing the Ring of Fog decreases its aggro radius by half. This is the longest ladder in the game, believe it or not. I think it is anyway. Just some useless trivia there. You want to put the rusted iron ring on so that you can walk or run through this water. I don't have it on, and that's a mistake. And I'm doing what I said not to, which is running. But yeah, running towards the water. See that? You would normally come down from where these blue golems, these golems are coming from. And normally you've always taken these golems out before you fight the Hydra. Thankfully we one-shot these guys. So you'll see how they eventually stop firing balls of water at you once you get close enough, but don't get too close that you get close to the edge and fall off. That's what happens when you get close. They have this head attack, and the aim is to basically chop their heads off one at a time. And thankfully our weapon does it in one hit, so that's one head off. You don't even need a shield up here. And they fire the water at me because I'm too close to too far away from the edge. That's another head down. It's handy here to have a ranged weapon as well, a bow, because sometimes when the last head is you've got them down to the last head, basically it can be hard to hit because one of them clips through the kind of like geometry of the area. These guys are susceptible to strike attacks. They're resistant to magic attacks. Those golems. Good dodge there. I hate mid-rolling. Oh, yeah, I hate mid-rolling. I don't know what's happened to the frame rate with these, with the Hydra heads. It's gone weird, man. I don't know why it killed. I mean, normally whenever I've fought that, but like I say, admittedly I always fight it at the beginning. You get the Duskhound ring. Is that what it's called? yeah, dusk crown ring and a dragon scale, and the dusk crown ring increases your number of castings at the expense of health points. I think it takes half your health points off. Yeah, it halves your health points. So additional sorceries, but the cost of health. No, a ring I don't use, so. And now we've got to do one last thing. So if you walk back the way we came, and you run to the end of this river, or it's not a river, this body of water, a lake I guess then. This is also the way to the DLC area. We'll go there later in future episodes. So what you have to do is quit and reload here, and that'll spawn a new enemy. And put a rusted iron ring on for this fight, because you want to be able to move through the water quite quickly if you're. So here it is. It's the golden golem, golden crystal golem, weak to pyro and strike damage like the other ones. I'm not getting that attack off properly. He's got an area of effect attack there. Staggered him. Should have went for the kill shot there. And we meet an NPC, Dusk of Thoroland, who's been trapped in the golem.
So, 'tis thou who rescueth me. Most gracious, I am deeply obliged. I am Dusk of Thoroland. I cometh from an age long before thine. I cannot stay here.
A time traveller.
So, before I disappear, allow me to ask one thing. My home, Thoroland, is the home of ancient sorceries. My hope is to pass this profound knowledge to thee, with thine approval. Would this be of assistance to thee?
Yes.
My heartfelt thanks. I am pleased beyond words. Then I shout, engrave my signature. If thou art in need, pray summon me from my signature. It seems that my time is done. May the great flames guide thee.
So that's an interesting NPC. I'll talk about her in a second. Let me talk about her quickly right now. She says she's got a summon sign. To get to the summon sign, go back to where we fought the Hydra, and there was a rock there. You'll see it next to our summon sign next to the rock. Anyway, let me talk about. Yeah, I'd forgotten to mention, if you want to keep Rhea alive, you don't want Petrus to kill her. The first time you see her in Undead Parish, buy all of her magic or sorceries and one divine blessing, and that will cause her to move on to Duke's Archive. So anyway, here's Dusk's summon sign. You don't have to be human to summon her, you can be a hollow. I think she can travel through time, or she can send information through time.
I am Dusk of
And there's a reason for that, we'll find out later on.
Honor to see thee again. I shall follow thine wishes.
So she sells sorceries, kind of sorceries that have got like practical uses,
For a
like
very long time,
chameleon and whatnot.
I was trapped within the crystal golem. From my home I was taken and banished to a plane of distortion. It was there that thou came to my rescue, long after I had relinquished all hope. So gleeful was I. My faith.
We've heard that line before, my faith reneweth, Guinevere and Anne Orlando.
The sorceries of Thoroland differ from the magic of them.
So differentiation of the times, eras.
Thoroland sorceries are, what doth one say? They're somewhat of an approximation. Thine sorceries are more straightforward, negating all but thyself. Dost thou not find some fascination in these discrepancies? The sorceries of
yeah, hidden body, repair, chameleon, hidden weapon, cast light. And I think she can travel in time, and the ivory catalyst as well. I think that's a good catalyst. I believe an ember is a sorcery build once I used that for a while.
If thou art in need, pray summon me again. I wish to be of assistance. May the flames guide thee.
Thanks, Dusk. In the next episode, we will take on Sif, the legendary canine. I hope this episode's been helpful to you, and thanks for watching. I always finish too early, don't I? Or too late.